Man, March Madness, the energy is just like electric. Especially when you get down to the Elite Eight, it's intense. But when your team's journey ends there, well, that's rough.
Yeah, definitely a tough pill to swallow.
You send us this Detroit Free Press article about Michigan State's Elite Eight game against Auburn.
Oh, right.
From this year's NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
And so in this deep dive, we're going to try to break down those key moments, figure out what went wrong for the Spartans.
See if we can get to the bottom of it.
And why they couldn't quite make it to the Final Four.
Exactly.
This game was played on Sunday, March 30th, down in Atlanta.
Big stage.
Huge stage.
High stakes.
So let's jump right in.
Yeah, let's hit it.
First things first, Auburn won this one, right?
That's right. They defeated Michigan State 70-64.
70-64, that's a final score.
Ending NSU's season with a 30-7 record.
30-7.
That's a fantastic season. Coach Izzo's 6th 30-win season.
Wow, 6.
However, this is also his 3rd Elite Eight loss in 11 appearances.
So close.
Yeah, they were right there in 2003, 2014, and now 2025.
They just can't get over that hump.
It's a tough round.
And the article really highlights Auburn's Johnny Broome.
Oh, yeah, he was a force.
I mean, the guy's the SEC Player of the Year.
Right, so we knew coming in that he was going to be a problem.
He was going to be a major factor.
And he was a problem for Michigan State right from the start, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and he got hurt too, right?
He did. In the second half, he hurt his arm, looked pretty bad.
Yeah.
He was off the court for a while. And then he made this amazing, like, Willis Reed-esque comeback.
Oh, wow. So he comes back into the game.
Back into the game. Huge moment. It really seemed to energize Auburn and, maybe deflate Michigan State a little bit.
Oh, yeah. A momentum swing for sure.
Big time.
But so what was Broome's final stat line?
Well, he finished with 25 points, shooting an incredible 10 for 13 from the field.
10 for 13. That's efficient.
And he also had 14 rebounds.
Oh, wow. He was all over the boards.
But you know what? Probably his biggest moment was that late three-pointer.
After he came back from the injury.
Yeah. I mean, in a tight Elite Eight game like that, a clutch shot like that can be the difference.
It can change everything. Now, the article gives us a little bit of background on Broome. He's a fifth-year senior, right? Big guy, too.
Oh, yeah. He's listed at 6'10", 240 pounds.
That's a lot to handle.
He transferred to Auburn from Morehead State before the 2022-23 season. The article talks about how he established himself right away, scoring Auburn's first 6 points. Like, Jackson Kohler really had trouble guarding him early on. And by halftime, Broome already had a double-double with 17 points and 11 rebounds.
That's a statement right there. But the article makes it clear that Michigan State didn't go down without a fight. They battled till the end, right?
They did. They showed a lot of grit, but their shooting was really off.
Really?
Yeah, they ended up shooting 7 for 23 from three-point range.
That's not great. What is that, like 30%?
Yeah, a little over 30%. And their overall field goal percentage was only 34.4%.
And, I mean, against a team like Auburn, in the Elite Eight, you're not going to win many games shooting like that.
It's tough. Very tough.
Did any of the Spartan players have, like, a good game offensively?
Well, Jackson Kohler was a bright spot. He had 17 points, shooting 6 for 8 from the field, and he also pulled down 11 rebounds.
So he battled hard.
He did. And Jaden Akins finished with 15 points, but he took 17 shots to get there, and he was only 3 for 10 from 3.
Yeah, not super efficient.
No. And then Trey Holloman, he had a rough night shooting 0 for 10 from the field, including 0 for 5 from 3.
0 for 10.
Yeah, and Jace Richardson chipped in 11 points but shot 4 for 13. So some decent individual performances, but not enough consistency as a team.
So we've got Auburn with a dominant player in Broome and Michigan State really struggling to shoot the ball well.
Right.
But were there any, like, turning points in the game, moments that really swung the momentum?
Oh, absolutely. There were a few.
What were some of those?
Early on, Michigan State actually had a small lead, 8-6.
They did.
Yeah, after a three-pointer from Kohler, a three-point play by Richardson, and a dunk from Carr.
Oh, wow. So they came out strong.
They did. But then Auburn went on a 17-0 run.
17-0.
That's right. And that's when things really started to shift. It started with a couple of quick baskets by Miles Kelly. Then there was a foul called on Richardson. The article kind of questions whether it was a legitimate foul or not. Then Cooper turned the ball over, leading to a Kelly three-pointer. And to top it all off, Broome hit a step-back 3 over Kohler.
Wow. A 17-point swing like that can really deflate a team.
Definitely. But MSU didn't quit. They answered with a 7-0 run of their own.
Okay, so they showed some fight.
Frankie Fiddler played some great defense during that stretch.
Oh, nice.
And Kohler hit his second three-pointer, cutting the lead to 27-22. But Auburn always seemed to have an answer, you know?
Yeah.
Like they always had control. And right before halftime, Broome scores to make it 33-24.
So Auburn goes into the half with a pretty comfortable lead. Did Michigan State make any adjustments coming out of halftime?
Well, they came out with a lot more energy to start the second half. They managed to cut the lead to 5. But then Richardson got tripped up, and Auburn's Chad Baker-Mazur hit a big three-pointer. And that seemed to get them going again. And then, of course, there was the whole drama with Broome's injuries.
Right, the article mentioned he had to leave the game twice because of that arm injury.
It happened with about 13 minutes left in the game. But even with Broome out, Auburn kept extending their lead.
Oh, wow. So Michigan State couldn't capitalize.
No, they just couldn't get over the hump. Broome came back in for a bit, but he got hurt again almost immediately and had to go back to the locker room.
What a tough break for him.
It was. But even without him, MSU couldn't close the gap. And then Baker-Mazur hits another big three-pointer, putting Auburn up by 11.
So that was pretty much the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, pretty much. But then the story gets even crazier.
Oh, this is where Broome comes back in, right?
That's right. With about 5.5 minutes left, he comes back to the bench. The crowd goes wild.
I bet.
And then he checks back into the game, and the place explodes. It was incredible.
What a moment.
And you know what? He wasn't just there to be a moral support. He hits a clutch three-pointer.
With a hurt arm?
Heavily wrapped arm. And then he even grabs a one-handed rebound.
You gotta be kidding me.
It was unbelievable. He just willed his team to victory.
Pure heart. So this was the South Regional Final, correct?
Yes.
What happens to Auburn now?
They're headed to the Final Four in San Antonio with a 32-5 record.
32-5. Wow.
They're going to face Florida, the winner of the West region.
So an all-SEC matchup in the Final Four. Who's in the other semifinal?
Duke versus Houston.
That's a big one.
Yeah. And get this. This is only the second time in NCAA tournament history that all 4 Final Four teams are #1 seeds.
That's insane.
Pretty amazing.
And what about Coach Izzo?
Well, another Elite Eight loss, but his tournament record is still incredible.
What's his record now?
He's 59-26 all-time in the NCAA tournament.
59-26.
And he's made it to the tournament 27 years in a row.
27 in a row. That's unbelievable.
It's a record.
And when was their last Final Four appearance?
Back in 2019.
So they've been close recently. But, you know, in this game, the article really emphasizes that Michigan State they had no answer for Johnny Broome.
They didn't. He was just too much for them.
But do they give any, specific reasons why? Was it just a mismatch, or was Auburn doing something tactically that Michigan State couldn't figure out?
They do talk about the size mismatch in the post, especially early in the game. Broome just overpowered Kohler down low. You know, maybe Michigan State's defensive schemes weren't effective. Maybe they tried single coverage. Maybe they tried double teaming. But nothing seemed to work.
And he could score in different ways, too.
He could post up, he could step out and hit a three. That makes him a very difficult matchup.
So, for everyone listening, what are the big takeaways here from this Detroit Free Press article?
Well, Auburn played a great game. Johnny Broome was just phenomenal, really resilient. And Michigan State, they just couldn't shoot the ball well enough to win.
We're all about efficiency here. We give you the key insights, help you cut through all the clutter.
That's right. We want to get right to the heart of the matter.
And in this game, the heart of the matter was Broome's dominance and MSU's cold shooting.
It was.
So here's something to think about. You know, in team sports, there are so many factors that contribute to winning and losing. But what is it that makes one player, like Johnny Broome, able to have such a big impact on a game, especially a game as big as this one? Is it skill? Is it mental toughness? Is it just that will to win? It's pretty remarkable.
That's a great question.
Definitely something to ponder as we get ready for the Final Four.
I'm excited to see what happens next.
Me too. It's going to be a wild finish.
Should be a good one.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.